Well, good morning, Gulf Coast family and friends. It is an honor just to have you with us today. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. Can you believe it?
So we're recording this early. We're actually before Christmas, but we know that the day that this is going to play is New Year's Day. Can you believe it's a new year already?
This year has flown by. It just seems like we just started.
It does, yeah. It feels like it was a month ago that we were saying Happy New Year, right? Yep, so, but anyway, we're glad that you are with us here as we kind of look back over 2022 and just reflect on what God has done through the church and through the people and everything like that. My name's Scott. I'm the lead pastor. This is Shannon.
Hey.
He's one of our elders and also our student pastor as well. So one little thing first, though, before we start to get into some of that stuff, in a little while we're going to be taking communion, and so if you want to right now, just go ahead and hop into your kitchen, and it can be for the elements. It can be anything. It can be a piece of bread. It can be a cracker. It can be a cup of juice. It can be water. It can be. I mean, they represent, right, what we celebrate and remember in the death of Christ. So go ahead and hop into the kitchen and grab some of that so you're ready to go in just a little while, and we'll get started in a minute. All right, so we are celebrating everything that has happened over the course of 2022. Looking forward to another great year as well. I know it feels like it feels like the year has just scooted by really, really fast. But it also, as I look through a list of things that happened, there were some things on this list I was like, oh yeah, we did that. That was this year. It's kind of a blur because sometimes things just kind of get mixed up. And I was like, no, I thought that was last year. But we kicked off the year with the all church theme, No What Ifs, and that was a lot of fun because we got to give away T-shirts to everybody, and then that first series, in the year was also the No What Ifs, and the whole premise of it was, what do we need to do? How do we need to live our lives throughout the year of 2022 that in order for us to look back, we can say we lived with no what ifs? And so I think it was good. I think it was a good way of kicking off the year.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many people actually tried to live that life this year.
Yeah.
And because we can look at the people that we have here that we worship with, and we can see a lot of changes. Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of changes around the church. And so it's been great to see people grow.
Yeah. Part of kicking the year off as well was our 21 days of prayer and fasting. Staff had done that before, several months beforehand, because we just wanted to try it out before we asked the church to commit to doing that. And so January was actually the first time as a church that we did 21 days of prayer and fasting. And so what was your experience with all of that?
I think it was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it's kind of hard getting up in the morning, but once you got the alarm clock set, it's not that bad.
Right.
And so you just come here, and it's always exciting to see the different people that are here worshiping.
Yeah.
And it makes the day easier. It makes the week easier. It makes the month easier.
Yeah.
And I think it's made a big difference in my life, just putting that focus back on God instead of myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, not to put you on the spot, but did you guys try any of the fasting?
Yes. and I lost some weight, which was
Yep,
really good.
yep.
And then once it was over, I put it back on.
That's what happens, right?
But I'm actually looking forward to coming up because we're doing the fast again.
Yeah.
And so it was a challenge.
Yeah.
It was a challenge, but it was a good challenge.
It's supposed to be a sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
It's not a diet plan. It's fasting is one of those things that is not pleasurable, and there's a reason for that, to teach us to lean upon Jesus and upon God and upon His Word, and each other as well. So.
And that's not always easy to do.
Yep. So February we launched groups. That's typical for us. Every February, September, we kind of follow a semester-based thing. But awesome seeing our groups launch there. You guys went to Winter Jam, right?
Oh yeah, that concert in Mobile they do every year is fantastic. So I think we had 25, 30 people go to that, families.
Yeah.
And so it's always good. Kids have a great time, adults have a good time. Mm-hmm. And then we followed that up with a retreat up at the church camp, which we had never, in my recollection, have done that.
Okay.
And so we went up there, we served the camp, had a work day, some men came up to work alongside of us as well. Yeah. And it was just a great time.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. March, we had the women's conference. This was kind of a trial sort of thing for us. Right now, media, at the time, they're not doing this anymore, which is kind of unfortunate, but at the time, they were offering some conferences that they were streaming online, and if, as a church, you subscribe to Right Now Media service, then you could get those for a very small fee sort of thing. And so we put together the women's conference here in the worship center and streamed all of those sessions. And I think, from what I heard, I think most of the ladies enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the men had an opportunity to serve the ladies.
Yep.
And I know for me personally, I learned a lot during that conference. So I was sitting in the very back the times that I was here, and I'm taking notes furiously. I'm saying, "Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good." And
awesome.
so it was good just to see all that. But we had a ton of people here.
Yep. It was really good. You guys kicked off the student ministry, some worship nights, right? You've never had that before, have you?
Never have had that at all, and that is not my gift, as you know. I mean,
yes, I know that.
I can't play two sticks together. I can't hardly play the radio by myself. But we did that. We have some great volunteers with Stephen Colclaser helping to lead that, which is really good.
And you had the students.
The students are
pretty
actually
much doing the music, right?
all the music.
Yeah.
And so we have middle school students, we have high school students, and they practice during the week, and once a month we all get together, both groups, and we worship. And it's a pretty cool thing to see a bunch of students worshiping. Yeah. They get it at different camps and stuff like that. But now they have their own. And so we'll have short lesson, we'll worship, and I'm so proud of the students for what they do and for the hours they put in. And it's a good time.
And so Easter weekend came up after that in April, and a couple years ago we had a really amazing worship night on Good Friday, and it was an incredible experience. This year, coming into Good Friday, we just kind of put out the question, especially amongst the staff, of what we really, the direction we wanted to go with Good Friday. And a lot of the direction for the entire year was prayer focused. And because we just really want to solidify a foundation of prayer church-wide, and we didn't feel like that was really happening beyond a prayer list, and so coming into Good Friday, we said, well, why don't we just do one of those prayer services like we did for 21 Days of Prayer? And so that was amazing. I had no idea what to expect. You never do on a special service like that. But this place was almost completely packed out, and we had some worship and a brief little, like a devotion, like a 7-8 minute devotion or something like that. And then we just released everybody to go around the entire campus, inside the walls, outside, praying over every parking spot, every classroom for the Children's Center, and just praying for God to show up and show off on Easter Sunday, which He did. It was another amazing Sunday for Easter. We had another record attendance.
Oh, absolutely.
As well. And of course, Sundays, that's a Super Bowl for us every year, as a church, but it was an incredible weekend as well. So.
Well, and I think that the focus on prayer that we're doing as a church, because you believe in prayer, I believe in prayer, the elders believe in prayer. We believe in prayer. but sometimes that didn't manifest itself too well to the congregation.
Right.
But we've been doing that for a little over a year now, and trying to teach the importance of prayer. And I think we can see that difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see that with the people, we can see that with numbers, and so it makes a big difference when we put that focus on God instead of ourselves.
Absolutely. So one of the really cool things, and I don't want to get stuck on like attendance numbers, because a lot of churches for a long time have basically gauged their success on their attendance, and there's a much better way of gauging success, in my opinion, and that's lives being transformed, which is really hard to measure,
right?
Unless you just hear people's stories. But it was way cool to see record attendance on Easter, and then for the next couple of months after that, the attendance stayed way up, way up, beyond what we were averaging coming into Easter time, and so that was way cool just to see God working through that and bringing more people through our doors on Sunday mornings, and more people getting into groups, more people serving on teams. I mean, it was just, it's a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Right? When you see a bunch of people come in like that. So.
And from the student pastor side, I look at the students' lives. And to me, when students' lives are changing, they start to do things that don't look like the world. They start to do things that look more biblical.
Yeah.
Simple things like tithing. When I see students, and there's a bunch of them that regularly tithe, it may only be $7 or $12 or $21,
Yeah.
but it's not the amount. It's not the
heart.
money. It's the heart behind
Right,
it.
right.
And so when you see the students doing that, you see other people doing that, you actually see people starting to live out their faith.
Yeah.
And that's everything. I mean, that's why we're here.
So May heading into June, crazy time of year. I know for you, right? May, the first thing that we had was Mother's Day, and we had Family Portrait Sunday this year as a little gift to all of the moms and all. And one of the things that we know, it's not cheap. Have you ever done like a portrait session, a family portrait
like
session?
Olin Mills.
Yeah, or I mean, there's all kinds of photographers out there now.
Right.
You can get a session with them, sort of thing. But it's not cheap at all, And so we wanted to do something that wasn't the crazy fun photo booth. You put your little mask on or whatever sort of thing, but something that was classy. Right, something that looked really good, something that was high enough quality that if Mom really loved the picture, she could get it blown up,
right.
And put on the wall. And so that was awesome to have for Mother's Day. Recognize several seniors, right, on Senior Recognition Sunday later that.
It's always sad to see
It
them go.
isn't it? This year's going to be really hard for me this next year because I got a senior. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Allie is leaving.
we've been trying to tell her she's not allowed, but and then summer, right? June, man. So this was, I think it was the second year that Amber has done the summer subs thing for June and July, and that has been absolutely huge.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, for all of our volunteers throughout the school year, it's absolutely huge for them, And so thank you to you. If you stepped up and did 1 or 2 Sundays throughout June or July this last year, thank you for making that possible. Just to give a break to our regular volunteers throughout the rest of the year and all. So
it seems like a small thing, but that's really a big thing.
It's huge.
It really is because we have, we're volunteer driven. All of our ministries, it's volunteers. We can't operate without our volunteers. Right. And so when people step up to take a week or 2 from our volunteers, it frees them up and gives them some rest. It shows them that we care about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they shouldn't just have to do it all the time. They love to do it,
right?
But it's always nice to have a break.
Yep, absolutely. Kids Camp happened in June. Amber and a bunch of the volunteers here from Gulf Coast, a few from other Christian churches in the tri-state area, all got together at Tri-State Christian Camp, and this was elementary aged camp for a week, right?
Yeah.
Bless their hearts.
Oh, yeah.
A whole week with them, right?
Glad they do that. I'll stick with the teenagers. But,
yeah, and then you guys got to go. You did middle school CIY first, right?
Yeah, we did middle school CIY for a week. Where
were we at for that?
South Florida.
Okay.
At, I don't even remember the name of the college, but it was fantastic. I had the green beard.
Oh yeah, that's when that happened. Yeah.
So and then it wouldn't come out, so the label kind of lied.
Right.
But it was good. We had a fantastic time. We saw some middle schoolers do some incredible things there, which bled over later, which we'll talk about here in a minute with the Mexico mission trip.
Okay.
But then I was home for a couple days, and then it was off to Tennessee for the
Yeah.
next one. And with
For high school?
For the high school. And so that was fantastic. I think we had more kids than we've ever
That's what I was going to ask you, what numbers were like.
I think
how
it
many
was
went?
almost 40 total.
Wow.
And it was just, it's unbelievable. And like I said before, it's not the numbers.
Yeah.
It's the lives changing.
Exactly.
But you have to have the numbers to see the lives change.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, it's such a blessing to be able to work with them and to be able to see them and kind of walk with them in their lives.
Yeah.
As choices are happening.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a pivotal
It is.
time of life. I mean, they're developing their world outlook, you know, what they think about religion in general, not just Christianity and Jesus that hopefully they were brought up with, but I mean, the whole kit and caboodle, everything that plays into that. And there's all kinds of influences that are funneling into that.
Yeah,
you know?
I really think the world hates students, and I say that kind of flippantly, but not so flippantly. They don't want to see kids successful Christians. They don't want to see them with this changed life. They want them to fit in with culture, and culture is chaos.
Go with the flow with everybody
That's
else,
right.
right?
Go with everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't question anything. Act like the world. And we can look at a newscast and we can see the world isn't that nice.
Right.
It's a messy place. We need Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough thing to speak into their lives.
Yeah. So we head into July, we had a huge outreach, more Boston butts to smoke,
Yeah.
right? That was the ones that I got to shred and just, they just smell them. You do an absolutely amazing job with that, you know? And to some people that may seem like nothing, but when you take that and you shred those things up and you put them on a bun, and there's people out there who that means everything.
Yeah, they're happy with butt.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I put it that way.
I'm not sure that's the right way to word it. But, you know, it's fairly easy to do, and it seems to bring people joy, and it gives us an opportunity to talk to them about life.
Right. Yeah.
All over a barbecue sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys had a pool party in July, right?
Yeah.
With middle schoolers and
That was crazy.
was it?
Oh,
Why is
yeah.
that?
Because middle schoolers.
Okay. Enough said.
Yep. I'm not saying anything else, because what happens at the pool parties stays at the pool parties.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a fun event to do, and
Yeah.
I'm losing more hair.
Really?
Yeah, I
you don't
think
have that
so.
much to lose.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. So end of July was Grow Conference, which is the main church conference that we love to go to here at Gulf Coast. It's up at Church of the Highlands in Birmingham. I was so disappointed because I couldn't hang out with you guys. COVID had hit the Clevenger house, and it was just not a good time of year, you know. So, but I know you guys got a lot out of that. Some great time just spent together.
Yeah, Pastor
The
Chris
staff.
up there does a great job, and it's amazing that they have the organization that they have, and everything they have they're willing to share.
Yeah.
Processes, programs, you name it. If they've got it, they're willing to
They
share
stand
it.
it away.
And to
Yeah.
me, that's Christianity modeled right there.
Yeah.
Instead of selling things and keeping things,
Right.
all they want to see is the kingdom to be grown.
Yep.
And so it's nice to have those resources.
Yeah. So August came and we did another 21 days of prayer. This one we didn't focus on the fasting.
Right.
The fasting really is at the beginning of the year as just that aspect of giving God first. What is first in our lives, and so giving Him the first part of the year. It's not just a money thing, you know. It's all aspects of stewardship. Is all aspects of our lives, and so the fasting is in the beginning, giving Him the first parts of our year, praying that He'll bless the rest of the year, you know. And so August was another 21 days of prayer. We're going to do exactly the same thing this upcoming year. I'm jumping ahead now, but we'll do 21 days of prayer and fasting in January. Another 21 days of prayer in August as well. We had the comeback event. Which was a huge learning experience for the staff. You remember why?
because it was hot.
It was hot. It was so hot. So the first time we did the comeback event, the year before that, right after Easter, so it was in spring, beautiful outside, had the blow-ups and bounce houses, had food trucks, axe throwing, everything like that. And everybody stayed around for, 2-3 hours or so and just had a blast, This one, literally, I'm not exaggerating. People went out, got food, ate, and left. And you couldn't even stand touch the blow-ups.
No,
so hot.
I got on one of the blow-ups once, and that was it. I think I had third-degree burns, so it was so hot. It was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. So
we learned.
So we have comeback event down on the calendar for 2023, but it should be in a more pleasant season of the year. So September, we kicked off another semester of groups. And then tell me about, Connect, middle school CIY, back in June, now we have a mission trip planned to Mexico and what that CIY did for a couple of those girls.
Yeah, so during middle school CIY, it was Good News Productions was the mission of the conference. So they collected money every session, and it all went to Good News Productions. They do videos for Christians and for the gospel all over the world, for different missionaries, organizations, things like that. And so several of the young ladies really, it just infected them. It's like, we can do that. And so they started just going around to people and collected money.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what? And so they said, well, we want to do something. We want to do kingdom work. Right. And so they went around to collect all this money. Ended up being over $400.
Wow.
So I gave that to CIY, and they were like, what? This doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
So when we got back, everybody's talking about doing a mission trip and doing something more for the kingdom. And so I asked two of them. I said, look, do y'all really want to do the kingdom work? And they said, yes, we want to do the kingdom work. I said, raise $8,000.
Oh my goodness!
And that's what they're out there, huh? And so, but they did it. Addison and Jalen. I remember sitting down at Crystal the Bueller's house with those two young ladies, and they just started spitfire and just
all kinds of ideas.
Ideas. I mean, Paige's ideas, and they already had them. They were so excited.
Yeah.
And so we pared that down into a couple of things that were workable with the time that we had, and next thing you know, one of them was the paint party. That was the first one we did.
Right. Wait! I got mine.
Oh.
Check this out. How about that, huh?
That's pretty good.
I have never painted a single thing before in my entire life. This is the first and only one. This is a one of a kind, Shannon.
That's awesome.
This could be worth some money one day.
Yeah, it probably will be.
Maybe a nickel.
Yeah, at the thrift store.
Exactly. So here's what I did. So I went home, and Amanda and Allie were gone at the time, and so I went home and I just put this on a shelf in the house. Replaced another painting with it, just hung it up right on this shelf and just left it there. And it was, Amanda's pretty, she's good at, what's the word, observe, whatever. Sort of thing. But it was I think it was 2 or 3 days. And we walk in from the store somewhere, and all of a sudden she goes, "What is that?" That was her response to my painting. So, and then she tried to tell me it wouldn't be too bad if you didn't put the writing on the bottom and it looked like a 3-year-old's handwriting. So
it's much better than mine.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, but that was fun. I've never done that before, and walking into it, I was like, "There's no." And even during the process. This will preach. Can I just tell you the process of painting? We started from the top. We did this red part, and then you do kind of layers all the way down. And the process, I got about a third of the way down, and I was like, this is not going to look right. This is not going to look good at all, But Crystal was there, and some people were saying, well, do this, do that, And by the time you get down, it's like. It all comes together, It's it's not a masterpiece, obviously, but for having never painted before,
it was beautiful.
I'm kind of proud of it.
It's a Picasso.
So they had the paint party.
They did.
There was, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 people there doing their paintings,
I think so,
ish,
yeah.
you know, give or take. And I think we had gotten a group picture of everybody for that, and showing off our paintings.
And then on top of that, they were making beaded bracelets
That's
that they were
right, I
selling
forgot
to
about that, yeah.
local grocery stores and to everybody they came in contact with. They were saying, "Hey, buy these from Mexico and
Yeah,
buy these."
yeah.
So they worked hard.
Yeah.
They worked hard.
And then the next month, they put together the daddy-daughter dance, right?
Yeah, which was unbelievable.
Has
I
that, you guys ever done something like that
never.
here?
We've never done
That you
that.
know of?
No. Never.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
not in 30 years I've been here. So.
Right, yeah. It was amazing. It was an incredible night.
And over half the people that were here were visitors.
Right.
The people that have never stepped through the doors of the church, at least our church.
Yeah.
And so what a great way to minister to them. We had a great DJ.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Lots of good things to eat if you like sweet stuff.
I
And so-
came in number 2 in the hula hoop contest.
Yeah, I have a video. of
That's
that.
only because it was done with
Maybe
your
you'll see
daughter,
that.
and my daughter's really good at hula hooping, so.
Yeah. It was very impressive.
I bet. Scary more,
Yeah.
I think. But so that was a good fundraiser. They had a little photo booth out
Yeah.
in the lobby that you could get a photo with your dad, your daddy-daughter photo sort of thing.
Yeah.
And,
Everybody I
yeah.
talked to left extremely happy.
Yeah.
They had a great time with their kids, and like I said, the DJ engaged everybody, so nobody just sat down. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
few people, but
Yeah.
overall, everybody was up on their feet for 2 hours, doing all the silly dances and making memories.
Chocolate fountain.
Oh, yeah.
And, we had a child dedication the first Sunday in October. That's always really, really cool just to see couples get up here in front of the stage. Just committing, making that commitment to raise their child in a godly home and instilling godly values in their child from day one. To hear, to me at least, I remember when we did child dedication, baby dedication with Allie, after she was born, to stand there in front of the congregation and hear them say, "We will." We're by you. We got your back. We're going to do everything that we can to help you raise your child in that kind of home as well. So
And we need that. We need
Absolutely.
people making that commitment because it's hard.
Yeah.
And like we said before, it's difficult to raise a family in
Right.
this generation.
Absolutely.
And so anything we can do for families is what we need to be doing.
Yeah. I'm looking at the list here, and I'm seeing more and more student activities. So you
Yeah.
guys were busy this year, weren't you?
We have been very busy.
Yeah. So you did the color party in October.
Right.
Yeah. How did that go?
That was so messy. I've never been a part of a color party. I've seen it before, but to actually be a part of it they turn into animals.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
but they get into it. So we started out with white t-shirts and clean. I think we have a picture of that. And then at the end, there was this huge fog of color dust in the back.
You were blowing it out of your nose for days, weren't
for
you?
days, yeah. So, and my ears, and like my belly button. But that's beside the point. You don't need to know that. But color gets everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was a good time for everybody just to chill out.
It's fun. Every year, one of the things that I've loved about Gulf Coast since I've come on staff here is and I don't even know how the idea came up years ago. For the Halloween block parties. And nothing against other churches doing trunk or treats or fall festivals or anything like that. But I love the philosophy, the ministry philosophy of the goal is not just to get people here to our church. The goal is to get Jesus to the people. And one of the best ways you can do that is personally with your neighbors in your neighborhood, And so we had the Halloween block parties. I know you always do a huge one with your small group.
Yeah, we cook butts.
Yeah.
And so we serve barbecue and it shouldn't make that big of a difference serving a inexpensive little barbecue sandwich in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
But my neighborhood has changed because of these block parties. And we have, our small group always helps every year, and Mark's group comes to help us.
Yeah.
And they serve all the food and the candy and talk to the neighbors and the big blow up thingy that we do.
Yeah.
But the conversations that I'm able to have with neighbors is out of this world because people are talking now. And for 20 years, nobody talked in our neighborhood.
Oh.
I mean, they were just, everybody opened up the garage door, go in, and they were gone. And so, but now people are smiling, they stop and they talk.
Yeah.
And people talk about the event and upcoming events because
Right.
they know we do something
Yeah.
for New Year's as well. And so it's pretty amazing how that just transforms.
Yeah.
Just a little block party instead of hosting it here at the church.
Right. Yeah. Our group, we did some hot dogs, handing out hot dogs, but one of the big things that we dropped the most money on was getting the full-size candy bars. And
I wish I would have known that. I would have came in.
it was awesome. One of the stories that my group leaders tell is about one kid coming up, and parents haven't caught up yet, and he goes up to get candy, right? And he comes back, running towards mom and dad. They've got the big candy bars, I mean, how exciting! I mean, it's something so small, but something so huge too.
They'll remember
somebody.
that.
Yep, absolutely.
Why is that house different?
Right.
Because Jesus is there.
Exactly, absolutely.
And then the rails, they're known as the Bacon House.
Oh, that's right. That's
The
right.
Bacon
Yep.
House. Hey, we're going to the Bacon House next. So everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
what a way to build those connections.
Absolutely. Yep, that's good. So heading into November, the kids ministry did Operation Christmas Child. I didn't get a number of shoe boxes they were able to put together, but it was a pretty
big stack.
huge
Yeah,
stack,
absolutely.
So that's always a cool outreach. It's always good to do things like that with the kids when they're young. And the kids love doing it. I mean, kids just they love getting things, but they love giving as well. And so just seeing the kids and building that kind of character, if that's the right way of putting it, into them, giving them those opportunities is huge. So
Yeah, and I know on the student side, we did shoes for the homeless. Work boots through Pensacola Dream Center.
I didn't know
that.
that.
Yeah, see, we do
I did not know that.
We do it on the slide.
why did my daughter not tell me that?
I don't know. Maybe she wasn't impressed.
So tell me,
But,
what did you guys do?
Yeah, so they interview all the homeless population here. We have about 300 different homeless people in general in the Pensacola area. So they approach them all. They get their name, their sizes, stuff like that, and they throw them a big Christmas party that happened on the 17th, so a couple of days ago. But every one of them, they either got a pair of athletic shoes or a pair of work boots, socks, candy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so we agreed to do 10 of those. And so got the boots, and the shoes and the socks and the candy canes and the cards.
Yeah.
They filled out cards for the people and put them on there. They wrapped them all up. And so it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool for them to be able to do that.
That's amazing. We had the turkey cook-off. This was I remember this now. That wasn't too long ago, but I love the turkey cook-off because we get to be the judges along with Josh, and so by the time we get out there, well, you were already full because you'd already eaten about a dozen at least deviled eggs, before we started trying out the different turkeys. But it's fun trying out the different turkey, and I mean, some are baked, some are smoked, and some are fried,
And then we had the winner that was wrapped up in
it was Caesar.
bacon.
It was Caesar. It was bacon wrapped. It was amazing, absolutely incredible. Yep. And so that was always fun. And again, just doing it's not necessarily an outreach event, but it's a great opportunity for us just to kind of huddle up as a church and rub shoulders and just
have a
hang
good time.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So that was good. Thanksgiving right after that. We just had this last Sunday so this will be New Year's when this is playing, so it'd be a couple weeks ago. But we had the Ugly Christmas Sweater Contest, which is always fun. So that Sunday also on the 18th was our main focus for the Christmas offering. And man, I'm gonna start crying about this, because it was just absolutely amazing. Last year was the first time we did a big one.
Yeah.
Right. Years before in the past, it was something like on Christmas Eve, and let's bless a pizza delivery guy.
Yeah,
or
which was
something
always
like
fun.
that. That's way cool. And last year we decided to try to pay off medical debt, back medical debt for people who couldn't pay that off. Ended up being millions and millions of dollars worth of medical debt that we were able to pay off with a very small amount of money, relatively speaking to the amount that was paid off. And it was amazing just to see the church step up and do that. This year, our goal was 21,000, and I'm going to say only 21,000 because I must need to like jack my faith up a little bit more because our church has quite a bit more giving potential than, and I'm still learning this. I'm relatively new to the church, but not to make excuses. But this year the goal was 21,000. We're splitting that 3 ways. So a third of it goes to help the ever-increasing cost for CIY, for middle school, high school students to go to CIY, which I can, as a father, I can tell you is expensive, $500 plus. I can't imagine if I had 2, 3, 4 kids going to middle school or high school CIY in the same summer. And so we want to try to knock that price down and help them out. And so I was super excited when whoever came up with that idea to do that. And then a third of it is going towards helping to plant brand new churches, kick off new churches in the state of Florida. And the reason I mentioned this early on when we first started talking about the Christmas offering, the reason that we are focusing on Florida, because we're right here next to Alabama, and Georgia's really close, and I mean, there's all kinds of directions, literally, we could go with that. But Florida is, I think, if I remember right, the third, I'm going back to my stats now, the third most populous state in America, and it is one of the fastest growing states in America as well. And so being able to plant churches throughout the state of Florida gives us huge potential to touch literally thousands upon thousands of lives. The organization that we're going to be supporting with this is called Florida Church Partners, and they're doing some incredible things, planting churches all around the state of Florida. Florida, too, you can't just, this may be more than what you care to know, but there's like several distinct cultures in Florida, from Miami to Central Florida up to here. We're basically lower Alabama here, sort of thing. And so you have to be very strategic with the church, the lead pastor who's planting the church, that he fits that culture in the location where they're planting. And they do a great job with all of that.
They do. They just planted a church this fall in West Palm Beach, and it's called SoFlo for South Florida.
Okay.
And their launch day was, like I said, during the fall. They had over 350 people there, and they're already posting videos of all the baptisms. These are new lives to Christ because somebody had the initiative and the means to plant a church.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
The research has showed over and over and over again that for America, at least, for us here in the States, the number one way of reaching lost people and unchurched people is planting new churches. It's just a curiosity. It's like, there's a new church, I was hurt in this other church, maybe I'll try this new church out, and they come and they get connected, and their life is changed because of it, So super excited about that. So that's the second third. And then the last third of the Christmas offering going to our global missions partners is kind of a Christmas year-end gift to help them and bless them in their ministry around the globe. So a little bit stays here to help within our church, a little bit goes out into the region, and a little bit more around the globe. Like I said, 21,000, you're the money guy, right? So I think we've already turned off the Christmas offering fund. Because it just exploded. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh, yes. You start looking at all that stuff and you're like, whoa.
Right.
Whoa.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's just exciting to see. And so
did we not land at well over 30,000?
It is over $30,000. I haven't checked today or last night. So I don't know where it's going to end up landing. And it's huge. It's huge for CIY. It's huge for the church planners. It's huge for our missionaries. It's just, that's the generosity of a church. That's growing, and you guys get it. You get it that Christ matters, and what we do with the things that He's blessed us with, whether that's monetary or whether that's time, like volunteers, wherever that's at. It matters. And just so you know, the goal net for next year's offering will be much more than 21,000. So and then so the Christmas offering, and then you guys got the Mexico mission trip that you've been on. When this airs, you will have already been on it. That's right.
When we're taping this, they're going next week. So share with us a little bit about that mission trip. How many people are going? What are you guys going to be doing on that trip?
So we've got 17 people, all different age groups going, a few complete families are going. We're going to be driving 14 hours to Piedras Negras, Mexico, and we'll actually spend about 3 days in Mexico and then 2 days driving. And we're going to put on 5 roofs, concrete roofs, and you put it up with a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
2 scoops in each bucket, and you get a bucket line going, and it's dirty, it's hot, even when it's cold, and it's hard work, but there's nothing better. And usually that same day or evening, the people move back into the house.
Wow.
And so, yeah, they'll just go right in.
Yeah.
So they've been waiting on a roof because it's hard to afford a roof.
Right.
And so they're between $1,600 and $1,800 each roof.
Okay.
And that's very difficult when the average wage is about $300 a family per month.
And so the $8,000 you mentioned a little while ago that the girls helped to raise, is that's what?
That's what's paying for every bit of the roofs.
How cool is that?
And so, which
Yeah.
made it very affordable for everybody else going on the trip because that's just gas, food, lodging. And so that's how we can do a mission trip for $500.
Yeah.
You just can't do that
Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah. That's
So-
amazing.
And
That's
then,
awesome.
Plus, we're providing some food baskets, which is a month's worth of food for a family of 4. So it'll have rice, beans, I don't know, coffee, butter, eggs, you name it, whole
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. And we'll bring back pictures of all that. But so 10 families will get that, a
Yeah.
month's
That's
worth of
awesome.
sustenance.
That's awesome. So as we talk through everything here, before we break in and do communion, what's one of the biggest highlights for you?
Ooh, biggest highlight.
I didn't tell him I was going to ask him that.
No, you didn't ask me that. It's just the change in people. I mean, it's not an event, but you know, I've been here a long time,
Yeah.
and I've said that before, and that's a good thing and that's a bad thing sometimes. But the good thing is when you see people grow, and you see where we've been, where we're at, the people coming, the people leaving with Jesus, and because we do see a lot of military people coming and going.
Right.
But when they're closer to God and they get it and their lives are changed in the things that we can see, the love, the joy, the peace, the patience, the
Right,
kindness, their generosity, just all those different things.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what keeps me going all the time. It's just, and people need Jesus. People need Jesus.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
What
That's
about
awesome.
you? What sticks out to you?
There's a lot that sticks out to me. You know, one of the biggest things for me, just seeing the church in action. I think when Trav my brother-in-law was killed in August, I personally experienced church like I've never experienced in any other church. And literally, I'm not exaggerating. I've over 25 years in ministry and 6-7 different churches I've been a part of. I don't think I've ever experienced family like this, and how you guys just took care of us and just loved on us,
That's part of that growth, though, right? When Jesus is manifest in our lives, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what the church is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so that's part of
Yeah.
that beauty, I think.
Absolutely.
Even in the midst of pain and suffering, which every one of us goes through. And we never want to, but we do.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so important to have a great community.
Yeah, we're going to give you the opportunity to practice that here in just a moment through communion and remembering the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So Shannon will be back with you in just a moment with some thoughts to focus us on communion. And then we'll get back after that, and I want to share some stats, some numbers, some things we get to celebrate, baptisms and that sort of thing, and we'll share that in just a moment. So.
One of the things that we do as a church each and every week, and we do it unapologetically, is the Lord's Supper. And it's an ordinance, or you could say a tradition, you could say a rule. It's something that Jesus told us to do during his life here on earth. And he told us to follow it. And he said to do it weekly. And so we do that. But I want to give you some backstory to the Lord's Supper before we take it, so that you can put it all in perspective as to why we do that and why it's important. So nearly 3,500 years ago, Moses and the children of Israel were on the eve of an epic escape from Egypt, orchestrated by God. They were in bondage, they were slaves, and God was going to release them. So God told his people to sacrifice a lamb that was without blemish and to place the blood on the doorposts of their homes. And that night, an angel of death came through, and it passed over Egypt to slay the firstborn of every household that did not have that blood on their doorposts. There was salvation from death where the blood of the lamb had been applied. The Passover, which is a Jewish holiday, was instituted to annually commemorate that event because it was huge. It was their historic deliverance. Now, fast forward 1,500 years to the time of Jesus. Jesus sat in that room with his disciples for that last meal with them, and he asked them to participate in the Passover supper. And Jesus knew that within a few hours, he would be marched off to his death on the cross. He would be crucified as a sacrificial lamb for the sins of humanity. That's the sins of each and every one of us. Jesus took that unleavened bread and a cup of the fruit of the vine and administered the very first communion with those disciples. The ordinance was instituted by Christ and was reconfirmed by the Apostle Paul when he said, "For I have received of the Lord that which I also delivered unto you." And so after the manner of the Passover, Christ established a memorial in the New Testament. Mankind is only saved from everlasting death when the blood of Jesus has been applied. Period. There's no other way. There's no other way. What a wonderful salvation that all have access to God through the blood of Jesus. Jesus told his disciples to have communion in remembrance of me. And the observance of the Lord's Supper is a memorial service that God's people might never forget the pain and suffering of the Savior. For as often as we eat this bread and drink this cup, you show the Lord's death till he comes. So today, just like every week, we take those two emblems. We take the bread, which represents his body on that cross. He was beaten, right? He was pierced with a spear. And then we have the blood, the juice that represents his blood that he shed for us on that cross and on the way to the cross. He only did it for one reason. For you, for me, because he loved us. That's what the Lord's Supper is all about. It's about a sacrifice for the people of God. And so today, as we take those emblems, we need to remember that God loves us and that this sacrifice was not in vain. He did it so we would have eternal communion with him. He's gone and prepared a place for us. And one day, we're going to rejoin him. And so today, let's remember why Jesus died and how much that he loved each and every one of us. Let's pray. Father God, we have really nothing to offer you, Lord. We have our lives, but what do you need from us? You're God. But you do want something from us. You want a relationship with us. You want our love. And so, Father, today we bow our heads and we remember the sacrifice that you did for us who are all so unworthy. We don't deserve your son's death. We don't deserve second chances, but you give them to us. You've shown us grace and mercy that we don't deserve, but you do it because you're a loving Father. And so today, Lord, as we pray and as we examine our lives, we just say thank you. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for giving us a hope and a future in eternity. Father, know that this day, as we start this new year, that we love you. It's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
All right, we're back, and so thank you, Shannon, for that communion talk
my
there.
pleasure.
Just focusing us, that was really, really good, tying that together for us. So one of the other things that we forgot to mention. So I love how the church here treats missions and missionaries and organizations, and I've been in some churches before where they got like 200 different missionaries they support, and each one gets like $25 a month or something like that, and so here we have a different mission or missionary or organization that we support each month, and 10% or it's 10% goes to missions every week. Half of that stays for local missions, and the other half goes to the global mission organization we support each month, and it's a different one each month, and then they just start over in the next year, and whatever God decides to bless us with in our offerings, that's what goes out to the missionary of the month. And so now and then we have the opportunity. They come out of the specific field that they're in. They come back over to the States, and they're visiting with churches that support them. And now and then we have the opportunity just to sit down with them and have lunch and visit and catch up. And that's always a good thing.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
I know Sherry just came back, so she's going to be back for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And so I look forward to seeing her tonight at our small group.
Yeah.
Because she would attend our small group, and so
That's awesome.
It's always good to see them.
Yeah, that's good. So just a few statistics here. So our average attendance for 2022 was 232, which in comparison to 2021 is a 12% growth. So I'm super excited about that, because it's always way cool to see churches just go, they just explode.
Yeah.
They have 50, 75% growth in a year. Oftentimes it's not really healthy growth. There's a lot more people coming, but there's not more people giving and serving and volunteering and stuff, because it grows so fast, And a lot of church coaches and consultants will tell you that a 10% growth over the course of a year is very, very healthy. And if you can continue to do 10% year after year after, it's the compounding sort of aspect, So that's exciting to see 12% growth over the year of this year. We had 46 new Gulf Coast owners, 46 folks who came to discover Gulf Coast, joined the church, and said, we're sold out to the mission of this church to go
winning
and
our turkey contest.
Exactly.
All kinds of stuff.
Yep, exactly. So that's awesome. Of course, we already talked about the Christmas offering, over $30,000 given towards that. And then, like you said, the biggest thing we love to celebrate is just seeing lives transformed for the cause of Christ. And one of the ways that we see that here is through people taking that step to be baptized. And it never gets old. We always save pictures and videos of that so that we can re-show those to you at the end of the year. And so this year we're celebrating 12 people who took that step in their faith journey. We want to show this to you right now. awesome is that, huh?
Man, there's nothing better.
Nothing like
I mean, if
yeah.
you can't celebrate baptisms, you have no reason to celebrate
That's right.
anything at all.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're about.
Yeah.
Change lives.
Yep, absolutely. So, and personally, I'm very grateful for Hayden and his baptism because that was just a few weeks ago, and I did not have to baptize him in the beach in the freezing cold water. So, anyway, just kidding. No, I would have done if you would have said, you would have too.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. So,
I might complain a little bit, but I would love every minute of it.
yeah, so that is awesome. We're so if you're watching, you're one of those folks who got baptized. We are proud of you, and we are continuing to pray for you that God's favor and hand of blessing will just rest upon your head. So that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's what we got for
The year is
2022
wrapped
year in
up.
review. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
thank you
hard
for
to
joining me
believe.
for this.
Yeah, my
I appreciate
pleasure.
it. I love you, man.
Thanks for allowing me to serve
Yep.
here and with
Absolutely.
you. And
Appreciate you
It's
and-
been a phenomenal ride, and it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is.
Yep, absolutely. Looking for another incredible year in 2023. I know today when you're seeing this is New Year's Day, so Happy New
Happy
Year's.
New Year. Happy
right?
New Year.
And Happy New Year's to you. We pray for you that God's hand of blessing would rest upon your head as well. Be blessed.
Look forward to seeing you next week.